In this video, I'm going to look at the solutions to the 2019 ordinary level questions for graphics. So in question 1 there, it asks you to insert the missing lines. So I've drawn them in red there. So if you project across from this top line here, you can see that there was a missing piece of a line up there. The handle here is a dowel shape. So the top and the bottom of the handle are represented by these two lines here, that one and the one below. And these corners here, I projected a line across from those corners to get me that red line there and that red line over there. So that's question 1. In question 2, it says to make a freehand pictorial sketch. So a pictorial sketch, it means it has to be in 3D. So that could be, in the case of the drawing that I've completed, that's an isometric drawing, which is 3D. It also could be oblique. So either one, it doesn't matter which, as long as it's 3-dimensional. It says to colour or shade the question. I've shaded mine in with a pencil. There's different levels of shading. So in under here, it's darker. You know, out here on this face here, it's brighter. So it just depends. You can use colouring pencils if you want. The advantages and disadvantages of a laptop, there are a couple of different ones. I put in that it's portable. I put in the disadvantage, it just has a smaller screen than a desktop. There are other examples that you could put in also. In question 4, you just have to copy the diagram that you see on the left hand side. So draw on the diagonal lines and the diagonal lines in the square here. That'll get you the top of that rectangle there. You can go across there and down, and then that'll also give you the point for the arc. So that's straightforward enough. This one here is based on an ellipse. So they want you to draw a tangent from P out to point T over here on the right hand side. So in order to do that, you have to get your compass. You have to set your compass to half the major axis. Put the pin on the top of the minor axis. Strike over here to the left to get one focal point, and here to the right to get the other focal point. When you get your two focal points, join it through point P and continue on out. Draw this focal point through point P as well and continue on out. Put your pin on P and bisect that angle. And when you draw that line then, that's your tangent. Down here, they're asking you to draw a freehand sketch of the wedge. So if you look at the wedge and count the number of squares along, there are 14 squares along this way here. There are 3 squares going up here, or 3 dots. And then if you go from here out to here, I think it's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out there. Then again, it also asks you to colour or shade the sketch. That's question number 6. Question number 7, you just have to count the squares. So if you look here, there's 1, 2, 3, or if you look along the bottom, there's 10 squares along the bottom. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40 up as far as here. Count the rest. Some of them you'll have to put them together to make a full square. So they take the likes of that one there and that one there. That, if you put those two bits together, that'll make one square. If you put this bit and this bit together, that'll make another square, and so on. I worked it out to be 53. If you get anywhere around that, so 52 or 53 or 54, that's okay. Now in this one here, you have a skateboard, and in the skateboard, you're asked to find out what the measurements are. So if you take the measurement for A, put it onto a piece of paper like that, transfer it onto the scale, you can see that A is 200. And if you take the measurement for B, transfer it onto the scale, you can see that's 1,100. Now make sure you put in the units as well. It has to be millimeters. Question 9, choose the correct elevation for figure 1. So the correct elevation is C. Question 10 then, you have to draw a tangent. To draw this tangent, I joined P to the centre of the circle. I bisected, so I put my pin here on P and I drew an arc on both sides of the line. I put my pin down here at the centre of the circle, drew 2 more arcs. Where the arcs crossed over, I drew the bisector, put the pin of my compass here, drew a semicircle there. Where the semicircle cut that circle there, that's the point of contact. I highlighted that and I joined it back in the direction of P. This here is new here. So the CAD commands that we look at are SolidWorks. So if you look at the difference between that square and here, the corners are knocked off it. So that command is called chamfer. If you look at the difference between this sketch here and this sketch here, you have 3 rectangles drawn in there. So the command is sketch rectangle. And if you look at here, this is a 2D drawn and this is a 3D. So this is what's called extrude. Question 12, count how many blocks are missing. There's 10 blocks missing. That's question 12. In question 13, it tells you the 2 angles. Get your protractor, draw a 50-degree angle here, a 65-degree angle up here, find out where they meet. In question 14, you're asked to draw perspective. So what I did here is I took the top and bottom of that line there, I joined them up to this. These are called vanishing points. Over here, I drew a line from here to that corner and I continued it on to get this top corner up here. And then that's a vertical line there. To get the center line of the fridge, you draw the 2 diagonals in lightly, and then you draw a vertical line for the line of the fridge door. Down here, if you count, there's 8 different divisions. Okay, so what I did is I drew a line off at any angle at all. I stepped off 8 spaces, all equal, made them all a centimetre. I joined the last point to the end and I drew the rest of them parallel, and where they met the bottom line here, I drew vertical lines up. I shaded in one of them. You can go ahead and shade in the rest yourself. So that's the 2019 Ordinary Level Technical Graphics.